Hi friends, I'm back. Doing something you maybe won't interest you, hopefully it will. I am going to paint that jar of peanut butter again. I set it up over there this time without the spoon and the peanut butter. The spoon wasn't that difficult to paint, and I just didn't want to waste another spoon of peanut butter. So I'll tell you why I'm doing it again. I was looking at it and I decided just to try to do it in a different style. Bigger brush, looser. This time we're going to put some paint on the background, because you know last time I had a white canvas and I didn't get it toned because I usually use acrylic, so we're using oil because this another painting with a little bit of an eyeball on there. Very dry, very old, but let's get some color on this one to start with. That's what I say, you could paint the same subject over and over and over and it'd be different every time. So you know, we'll start the same way, get the sketch on, get some of the values in. This is a Cobra color, an old tube of paint that I usually only use to tone canvases with. I don't even know what color it is. I've really been enjoying toning my canvases with the acrylics, the bright acrylic colors. So we'll wipe it off, get rid of some of the water. Okay. And then we'll proceed to getting the sketch on there. So we'll start off with a small brush. The sketch is a sketch regardless of what style we're painting it in. I still need to get everything in the right place. So we'll use our view catcher again, and if you haven't watched the last painting where I painted it, go check that out too. And you can see how I handled. I had a spoon in the other one. Matter of fact, at the end we'll put the other one up and we'll look at them and see what we like better. All right, we'll look at our peanut butter through there. I do like seeing the shadow. This is one object and I don't want to dead center it, and I want to include the shadow. So we'll bring the jar over. Looks like the edge of it hits about there. Top of it's fairly high. So it's going to be bigger than the other one too, partly because I don't have the spoon in it, and why not? We want it to be different, right? I keep using this little brush, but it's about worn out. So we'll do it like we did the last time. Let me go ahead and switch brushes. I'm just about not liking this one anymore. But the way I do it is I kind of build the jar, work my way down. All right, set that little thing aside. We'll get a brush out that's a little bit bigger. All right, so get our lid in there. How much peanut butter do we see? We come down, we see about that much. A long time ago, if you check back in my videos, I did a Pinocchio. I have this wonderful Pinocchio puppet that I bought. And I think I've done him a few times, but I think I did 2 videos, at least 2 on here, on the channel. And if you look back, the first time I did him, and I did him very accurately, and he's on my website, matter of fact. Then the second time I did him, I tried to be looser. I stayed back on the brush. I didn't explain his eyes as much, and I really, really like the second version better. All right, so let's look at this again. There's our lid, there's our peanut butter. You know, and I'm not saying the whole thing will be really loose. You know, we may want to come in with a brush and explain the word GIF. You know, I just don't have definite plans at this time other than trying to paint it a little bit looser. I can see the bottom of the jar better this time. And then a shadow that runs off. All right, but let's take this a little further. I mean, you know, let's put in the darker darks that we see. Under the lid over here is pretty dark. This is not so dark. We'll probably wipe some of that out. Let's do that now. That's actually where our peanut butter is. If you know who, maybe you do, Kevin McPherson is, he's a very good artist, and he had a series of paintings. He painted behind his house. He had a pond there. He painted it every day, I think pretty much every day, for a year. And of course, just the seasons changed it, and he came to a town north of here with that show, to show those paintings, just how different they were. I'm not sure I'd want to do that. I mean, you know, I find it most exciting to paint something the first time, probably. We got our shadow. And even though I put this here to help me do my sketch, I'm going to kind of wipe out this word because it is white. You know, if there's a subject that's difficult for you too to paint, you know, don't give up on it. Try it again. All right. That's probably all the information we need. Now, I've been starting with my lightest light, which again is the word GIF. And last time I worked with that pretty small brush to get those letters on. I think we'll do that again just to throw the letters in. I have a lot of props that, of course, I painted over and over, you know, copper containers, and I don't really get bored with trying them again. All right, that's kind of blocked in. Let's move on. All right, we'll mix up something for our peanut butter. I'm thinking I may do like 3 values. Really cold here today again. High of about 22, I think. All right, so I made a peanut butter color and I've mixed like 3 different values. All right. I brought out a really large brush because I was trying to decide, give you an idea how big that brush is. That's a pretty big brush. Now, if we work that large, I mean, we could try. Usually, the brush that I tone the canvas with is, you know, the one that I consider fairly large, that I work with a lot. Let's try the big boy, you know, let's just try it. All right, we'll start with the lightest part of our peanut butter, and we got our pink under there, so we don't have to worry as much about coverage as the last time. I'm just mixing up some more of the light already. Okay, let's get back to this. That's actually a better color than what I had before, isn't it? And I see it down in here. Moving across, getting a little darker, and then into our darkest value. I like dry brushing, but I want a little better coverage than that. Okay, let's move on to the lid. I'm going to first put out Cad Red Light. Where it's catching the most light is a pure, almost a pure red. We'll put a little bit of yellow in it. Pull it a little orangier. As it moves across, we'll put a little crimson in it, pull it a little deeper, and then all the way around the side where it's away from the light, let's try a little more crimson and maybe a little blue. Things in the shadow are always usually cooler, but it's about observing, you know. Of course it is. All right. Staying with that big brush, we're going after the red. And I'm holding across the brush. Sorry, that shakes around. And with the big brush, you know, as you can see, we're getting brush strokes and if you were a student of mine, you would be painting a lot of still lifes. I just think it's just great practice and a great way to learn, paint from life. All right, let's go down to the red in the jar. You know, we got red on the brush. See how successful we can be with this big brush, huh? The red goes you know, it's more challenging, I'm not going to lie, especially to get around this. Again, with the pink on there, you know, we don't have to cover completely either. And we'll probably, with a palette knife, you know, explain some of that edge. I know that looks a little fat, but that's okay for now. And then there's I didn't really get enough paint on that brush. Strip of red there. Now we're switching to the blue. Again, I'm not sure how, with this big old brush, how successful we can be, but we can always go back. You know, we can always go back with the white and explain things. And how far over does that go? About there. As you can see, going this large, there's no way this won't be more painterly. It just has to be. I can't control it as much. Okay, and then we'll make a green. And I'm not washing this brush, so that means we're intermixing these colors, which is okay. And the green looks like it comes all the way down to there. And there's a yellow circle there, if you remember that. We're going to go ahead and get some color on the background. We're getting the canvas covered quick, aren't we? that off of there. I'm measuring the height of this compared to this, and it's really not too much different, believe it or not, but again, we haven't explained, you know, haven't explained it. All right, now let's start tweaking it a little bit. We got the canvas covered. Let's clean up the lettering a little bit, because I think, you know, even though we're going for painterly, I think probably this matters. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Got one highlight, kind of in the area where the one was last night, but all right. Looking around to see where I might make some adjustments. The shape of that jar, let's see, it comes down and it kind of comes over that way more. So then it obviously would do the same on that side, huh? And as I look at that, maybe the peanut butter looks a little darker down in there. Shadows should be darker. It's only been a half an hour. Wow. Well, you definitely get things covered quicker, don't you, with a big brush. Okay, there's a little thing over there. Yeah, the only bright highlight is right there, and I brighten up the lid a little bit, as you can see. I know this is not a big brush, I'm just playing around a little bit. All right, so I'm looking to see what bothers me, if anything. I feel like that seems a little high. Not that it has to be perfect at all. And I think we went a little too far with the light. Let's bring that over a little bit. Remember last night I kept trying to introduce some yellow lettering. I'll just throw a little bit of that. All right, we're going to quit, I think. 31 minutes. Now, let's bring the other one over too. Obviously, the jar was a lot smaller. Let's back you up a little bit. Let's see. Get you off to one side. All right, there they are. The one last night, obviously, I painted him smaller. I had to get the spoon in there. It actually feels, the whole jar feels squattier, doesn't it? And it's actually probably more like that in reality. But that one's painted with mostly with a, like you see, you saw me do it, a great big brush, except the lettering. You know, I like them both fine. When you're working big, it's a good practice to, you know, keeps you large, keeps your shapes large. And let me show you. I've also got a mat here. I keep forgetting to do this, but I bought this big mat for this purpose right here so I could show you what it would look like. Kind of give you an idea, you know, when you clean it up, what it would look like framed. Again, big difference? No. I really rushed, you know, I worked pretty quick on this one, and actually probably my jar is more the shape of the real jar of peanut butter. I'll show it to you again. Of course, we're looking down on it. See, it's actually taller. It's probably more like that. So, get you in there. It was a quick one. Fun, yeah. We got the pink this time, which is beneficial, I think, when you're painting. Okay. Hope I didn't bore you to watch again, but I don't know, I just had the itch to try it again, but go bigger this time. Go big or go home, right? Okay. You have a wonderful evening. Stay well and join me next time. Good night.